Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the how-to series. An important segment today, we're going to talk all about thumbnails. Let's get creating. Gaming for XP. Probably one of the most important things outside capturing your footage for your channel is the design of your thumbnail, because that really gets people's attention. It gets people to click on your videos. And today we're going to explore some of the theory and the tips I can give you about how to make a thumbnail, or what is required to make a thumbnail. We may do this as a two-parter. The actual physical creation of a thumbnail come later. This is really to cover some of the things that you need to consider before you create your thumbnail. So let's get into it. It's fair to say that how we consume content over the last 10 years has changed dramatically, and the devices on the screen here now are the main reason for that. You know, tablets and smartphones have been key in driving YouTube, and to get people to be attracted to your channel, it's very important that you understand that the thumbnail is the first thing that they see, and that's the thing they're going to click on. And therefore there are some principles that you have to understand before you start constructing a thumbnail. As you can see, I've just hopped on YouTube. We'll click on gaming in a sec, and you have a look at all the different thumbnails. There's tons and tons of them, and just look at what attracts your eye, and then we'll investigate some basic principles about what you should be looking for when you're creating your thumbs. So for me, there are three guiding principles that I use, and here they are. Your thumbs should accurately portray the content of your video. Your thumbs get your viewers excited to watch your videos, and your thumb catches the eye of your viewers or potential viewers. So what does that mean? I'm just looking at Flipboard here as another thing. You can just say it's just Thumb City. One of the feedback that I got very early when I started my YouTube channel was the fact that some of my thumbs that I were putting out, when they clicked on them, they had an expectation on what they were actually going to view, and they were finding that my thumbs didn't really line up with the content that they were seeing. And for me, that was invaluable feedback for the channel, because it did set my direction and really made me think and learn that I had to be on point with my thumbnails and make sure that they accurately showed exactly what was in the videos that I was producing. To take that a step further, it should also be aware that it should represent the first 15 to 30 seconds of your video. It's very important that people stay and watch your video to the conclusion. So hopefully that hasn't scared you. I know that sounds a little bit complicated, but you know, growing your channel and being in YouTube, you really need, or whether it's Twitch, YouTube, whatever it is, even Facebook now, the retention of viewers is a key element, and if you are not representing your video within the first 10 to 30 seconds with your thumbnail, and then likelihood is people are going to click off and not come back, and you don't want that to happen. So point number 2, your thumbnails get your viewers excited to watch your videos. Now, how can I get my viewers excited by my thumbnails? Well, let me talk about this in a little bit more detail. So here's a thumbnail I just put quickly together, and straight up, without any text whatsoever, you're looking at this going, this young lady seems excited about something. So let's try and break down why this kind of draws your eye and why it would get your viewers excited. Well, the first part is the background color. The key thing for you to do is attract viewers, and bright background colors make you stand out from your competition. It also gives some contrast against the YouTube interface, and your viewers will be automatically drawn to bright and buzzy colors, and that's scientific fact. That's just the way we're programmed. Like the magpie, bright and shiny things, bright, colourful things attract us. And for some reason, the pinwheel effect on YouTube has been extremely successful and popular. So you don't need to use the pinwheel or any of this, but just be aware that background colour is a key element to draw people in. Now, if you haven't noticed yet, you would see a lot of thumbnails on the various social media platforms have some element of a human face or a human body on them. And this is not by chance. This is really working towards how humans are built and programmed and what they relate to. We've evolved to detect eye contact and read people's faces, whether you're aware of that or not. And so having some kind of human element, or at least some kind of body or head on your thumbnails, can be a plus. It's not always possible, but depending on the content, but a lot of people use this trick in their thumbnails to get people to click on their videos. So let's look at this a little bit further, because one of the key things is the emotion. And I used to be a salesperson for a long time, and one of the psychological things that people do when they're selling is they smile at people. And it's funny how that breaks down barriers. So some kind of emotion is a very important thing if you're going to go. And I know there's a couple of friends that I have on YouTube who do this, where they actually physically put their body up on their thumbnail with different emotions in it, depending on what the content of the video is. And this is really designed to get your viewers to identify with what's going on with the emotion. It's you don't want a kind of passive emotion. You want a very strong emotion to draw people's interest, and you can see straight away with this, you are certainly drawn in by her excitement and the fact that there's not a lot being said here. So you've got to interpret the body language of that person, what emotion that she is giving you, and then the graphic element that I've added. So let's move on to the graphic element. And the reason I've put the graphic element in is if I just put a bright coloured background and somebody's body there, it really wouldn't intrigue you. By adding the food next to her, there's definitely a story there to be told, and so then you can build a title all around that, or a story, or it might relate to what your video is going to be about. So I'd like, just for a little bit of fun, I'd like you to come up with a title for this thumbnail, and it'd be interesting to see how people interpret this particular visual kind of thumb. So leave a comment down below what the title should be for this thumbnail or this video, potential mock video. And so all these different elements get people excited, they attract people's attention, and you achieve what you're at to do, and that's for them to click on your thumbnail and investigate a little bit further and use that inquisitive mind. So this also speaks to the third principle that we cover, and that is really your thumbs have to attract your viewers' attention. Some of the things to watch out for here is really the your color selection, and making sure that your text pops, the size of your text, the color of your text, all those different elements. And that's a personal choice for you, but it's important that you take time to consider what color palette you're going to use, and what kind of fonts you want to use, etc. And we might cover a little bit more of that in part 2, because I'm going to talk about 2 more things and then we'll be finished for today. So I'm sure that's a lot for you to absorb, but there's 2 more things. Consistency of look and branding. Consistency of look, I'm not going to lie, that's one that I have really struggled with since I started the channel. you can see the how-to series has a very consistent look, and the main reason this is important is the fact that your viewers will come back, hopefully subscribe and come back every week, and very quickly if they see a thumbnail that's consistent although the content has changed, and they're following that particular series, they'll click on it straight away. It also helps them identify straight away with your channel and with your brand, and you've got to think of your channel as a brand, and make sure that you have your logo or some kind of branding for the channel all over the place. It's very, very important, and you can see in this little graphic that I've put together, I use the banner that I use for live streaming on the bottom of the thumb, and plus you can see all those step-by-step how-to guides. I've all got the Gaming for XP logo on them, and consistency is a real key. Like I said, I struggled a little bit and I still struggle. It's getting better. I experiment a lot with thumbnails to try and get a consistent look so that people can easily identify with what I'm producing and therefore click on it straight away. So there you go, there's the theory of the art of the thumbnail. I researched this fairly extensively, so it's not just what I've learned as I've started my YouTube channel. There's certainly a number of documents out there that will also support what I'm saying here. In the second part of this series, we'll look at the actual physical putting together of a thumbnail, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the software that you can use to do that. So guys, I hope this is useful for you. I hope you got something out of this. If so, pop a like below. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so you don't miss any of the content on the channel, and we will catch you next time.